please join me in welcoming the presumptive Republican nominee for President, Senator John McCain.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that kind welcome, and thank you, Ron, for your generous remarks and the invitation to address you. I see that we have some students here, including a few from Arizona, and I welcome you to Washington and your money. And it's a pleasure, as always, to be in the company of the men and women of the American-Israel Public Affairs Committee. And I know that all of us are proud to be in the company of my dear and beloved distinguished senator from the state of Connecticut, my dear friend Joe Lieberman. Joe, thank you. A man of humility, a man of kindness, and a great and dear friend, not only of America, my family, the state of Israel, and the world. My friends, all of you involved in the work of AIPAC have taken up a great and vital cause, and a cause set firmly in the American heart. When President Truman recognized the new state of Israel 60 years ago, he acted on the highest ideals and best instincts of our country. He was a man with courage and a sense of history, and he surely knew what great challenges the Jewish state would face in its early years. To his lasting credit, he resolved that the people of Israel would not face them alone, because they would always have a friend and ally in the United States of America. The cause of Israel and of our common security has always depended on men and women of courage, and I've been lucky enough to know quite a few of them. I think often of one in particular, the late Senator Henry Scoop Jackson. I got to know Senator Jackson when I was the Navy liaison officer to the United States Senate. In 1979, I traveled with him to Israel, where I knew he was considered a hero. But I had no idea just how admired he was until we landed in the airport in Tel Aviv to find a crowd of 700 or 800 Israelis calling out his name, waving signs that read, "God bless you, Scoop," and "Senator Jackson, thank you." Scoop Jackson had the special respect of the Jewish people, the kind of respect accorded to brave and faithful friends. He was and remains the model of what an American statesman should be. The people of Israel reserve a special respect for courage, because so much courage has been required of them. In the record of history, sheer survival in the face of Israel's many trials would have been impressive enough. But Israel has achieved much more than that these past 60 years. Israel has endured and thrived, and her people have built a nation that's an inspiration to free nations everywhere. Yet no matter how successful a nation of Israel, or how far removed from the Holocaust, there are experiences that will never pass from memory. Not long ago, I was in Jerusalem with Senator Lieberman and our colleague Lindsey Graham, and we went to the Holocaust Memorial, Yad Vashem. And for all the boundless examples of cruelty and inhumanity to be found there, for all the pain and grief remembered there, somehow I was especially moved by the story of the camp survivors who died from the very nourishment given to them by their liberators. They'd starved and suffered so much that their bodies were too weak even for food. They endured it all, only to die at the moment of their deliverance. These are the kinds of experiences that the Jewish people carry in memory, and they are far from the worst experiences of the Holocaust. These are the kind of griefs and afflictions from which the state of Israel offered escape. And today, when we join in saying never again, that is not a wish, a request, or a plea to the enemies of Israel. It is a promise that the United States and Israel will honor against any enemy. Against any enemy. Against any enemy who cares to test us. The threats to Israel's security are large and growing, and America's commitment must grow as well. I strongly support the increase in military aid to Israel scheduled to begin in October. I am committed to making certain Israel maintains its qualitative military edge. Israel's enemies are too numerous. Israel's enemies are too numerous, its margin of error too small, and our shared interests and values too great for us to follow any other policy. Foremost in all our minds is the threat posed by the regime in Tehran. The Iranian president has called for Israel to be wiped off the map and suggested that Israel's Jewish population should return to Europe. He calls Israel a stinking corpse, that it's on its way to annihilation. But the Iranian leadership does far more than issue vile insults. It acts in ways directly detrimental to the security of Israel and the United States. A sponsor of both Hamas and Hezbollah, the leadership of Iran has repeatedly used violence to undermine Israel in the Middle East peace process. It has trained, financed, and equipped extremists in Iraq who have killed American soldiers fighting to bring freedom to that country. It remains the world's chief sponsor of terrorism and threatens to destabilize the entire Middle East from Basra to Beirut. Tehran's continued pursuit of nuclear weapons poses an unacceptable risk, a danger we cannot allow.